All right, everybody, today we're going to be dealing specifically with what's called rational exponents, all right, and understanding how to use them. So if you would please, in your journal, right now, I want you to write down rational exponents. Rational exponents. Now, when we're dealing with rational exponents, there's a word in rational. I'm going to underline it. What word do you see right there? Ratio, okay? So if you have a rational exponent, so I'm going to put like base b, that's a b, and I'm going to raise it to the power of m over n. So we're going to plug in a number for b. We're going to just plug in a basic number. We'll call it the number 2. It's a very common base. And we're going to make a fraction. We're going to make a fraction of 2 thirds. So 2 to the power of 2 thirds. So this right here that I'm highlighting, that's what's referred to as a rational exponent. So this right here, 2 thirds, would be considered a rational exponent. So how could we convert that to different forms? All right. So what I want you to understand is that this right here can be converted into a radical form. So this is called a rational form. Rational exponents. We're going to convert this to a radical form. So here's what the radical would look like. I'm going to make a radical sign. This number right here is called the index. I'm going to put that number right in there. I know it's the letter N, but that right there is referred to as the index. All right. So I'm going to put N here. I'm going to put B right in there inside the radical. I'm going to raise it to the power of M. So I want you to understand, this form can be converted to a radical form by putting the whatever number's in the denominator right there in the index and whatever's in the numerator right there. So if we look at our example, I'm going to put a radical sign. What number will I plug in right here into the index using that pattern? I would plug in a 3. Here's going to be 2 to the power of 2. Now, technically, we could do 2 squared. What is 2 squared? 2 squared is 4, right? So technically, I could write it like this. Now, could anybody change it from this form back to this form? Let's think about it. What power is 4? 4 to the power of what? 1. So what if I wanted to change this back to a rational exponent? I have 4. And what would be the fraction? What would I put as my fraction? What do you think? Yeah, 1/3. You got it. 1/3. So what I want you guys to understand, what's equivalent here? This right here is actually equivalent. Oh, make it a better box. To this right here. So if we go to the calculator, let me show you this. Ready? If I did 2 to the power of 2 thirds, oh, not point, sorry, don't know why I did that. See that decimal? If I do 4 to the power of 1/3, what do you get? You get the exact same decimal. So what does that prove to you guys? Hopefully that these are indeed equivalent in nature. All right. So what do we want to make sure you have in your journal? In your journal, what I want to make sure you have is this right here. Okay. How to convert from here to here. It's super, super, super easy. All right. So that's our first step. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you how easy this is. We're going to go over to our assignment. We're going to look at this right here. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to rewrite it. It's kind of hard to see there, but that's a 5, so I'll put a 5 right there. And this is c to the power of 1. So if you want to do these with me, you can. Get you some good examples. This would convert to c to the power of 1 over 5. And that's it. So that would be my answer. Okay, I'll do one more. This is what? A to the power of 1 over 5. So if I wanted to convert it to a radical, what number is going to go in the index? 5. And what's going to go right here? A to the power of 1. But here's what you don't have to have. You don't have to put a to the power of 1. So which answer would you guys choose? Yeah, D is right. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this one right here. Does everybody see it says the square root of k, the square root of k. Now, here's what you may not know. A square root, even though you can't see it, there's a 2 that goes here and a 1 that goes right there. So this would actually be k to the power of 1 over 2. So that goes just like that. So our answer would be answer choice A. And this will be the last one that I do on this one. Here we have y to the power of 1/7. So what would that be equivalent to? What's going to be my index right in here? A 7, and this would be y to the power of 1, but you don't have to put a 1. You just leave it as basically the 7th root of y, so I would choose answer choice B. All right, so that one's pretty easy. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over here where it has, let's see here, that's the challenge one. Right, here we go, right here. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like you to title this Fractional Exponents, okay? Fractional Exponents. This is going to be another one that will be very, very, very easy. We have 4 over 7. So this is just dealing with fractional exponents, which is still rational exponents. You guys should be able to figure this one out pretty easy. What number am I going to put right here? 7, very good. And what I'm going to put here, x to the power of 4. Do you guys see where it says choose one answer? So this is really, really easy. So literally you have one answer you have to match it up to. So you can clearly see that the answer is going to be answer choice A. All right. I'll do one more, and then I'll move on to the challenge. So right here, I want you to put a 7. This is A. Could you please put A to the power of 1, and then you're going to square it. So right now, everybody write this one down. So what I'd like you to do right here is I would like you to take this guy right here. Let's convert this to a rational exponent. So what would this convert to? What do you guys think? A to the power of what? What would you think? I'm asking my class here right now, just if you're wondering why if you're listening to this and you're watching, I'm not expecting you to answer. I'm asking my class right now. What fraction? Perfect, 1 over 7. 1 over 7. Now that 1 over 7, what's happening to it? It's being what? It's being squared. Now this is where students will forget, like, what is this? This is called power to a power. It's called the power property. So I'm going to write power property because you guys need to know what the power property is. So here's the power property. If I have b to the power of m and I raise that to the power of n, that's the same as saying b to the power of m times n. So I'm actually allowed to take this power and multiply them together. Like, well, I don't know how to multiply fractions to integers. It's just 2 times 1 over 7. So this becomes a to the power of 2/7. So all I did was take 1 over 7 and I multiplied it by 2 over 1, and that became 2 over 7. And that's really all I'm looking for. Can everybody see the answer that it would be in this particular case? It would be answer choice B. So what is this called? The power property. So I'll give you a quick, with easy numbers to work with. If I say 3 squared, okay, and I raise that to the power of 5, that would be 3 to the power of 10, because 2 times 5 is 10. So that's called a power to a power, or the power property. All right, so I'm going to go and click on this guy. All right, I'll do one more. T to the power of 5 over 8 equals, what's going to be in the index, everybody? 8, good. Now I'll put t to the power of 5. All right. You're like, wait a second, I don't see this right here. So what answer do you think is going to be the correct answer? Do you think it's going to be A, B, C, or D? Which one do you think is going to work out? If you had to choose one and your life depended on it. C is the right answer. Now, why is C the right answer? It doesn't look the same, does it? Okay? So check this out. This right here can actually be rewritten as t to the power of 1 over 8. And if I raise that to the power of 5, 5 times 1/8 is t to the power of 5 over 8. So these expressions actually are equivalent expressions. So that's why the answer is C. All right, so now that I've done those, I'm going to go over here to the challenge problem. Okay, so here's a challenge problem. It says which expression or expressions are equivalent to x to the power of 1.4. Now, this is where you kind of need to know how to take decimals and change them to fractions. All right, so how would I change this to a fraction? Well, hopefully you know that 1.4 is the same as saying 1 4/10. Now, 1 4/10, you can reduce the 4/10 to 1 2/5. And if you want to change that to an improper fraction, just multiply that by 5, add the 2, and that becomes 7 over 5. So x to the power of 1.4 is the same as saying x to the power of 7 over 5. Now, if you have a calculator, you can just do this. You can just type in 1.4 and hit the math button, press enter twice, and look at there, 7 over 5. And it's that easy. But if you don't have a graphing calculator and you have to do it by hand, this is how you would do it by hand. So now that I have that, I know that I got to match everything up to this. So one of my answers could be this. Ooh, I found it. There's one of them. This is another answer because this could convert to x to the power of 1 over 5 raised to the power of 7, and that still gets me x to the power of 7 over 5, so that's another answer. And if I once again do a power to a power, that's x to the power of 7 over 5. So it looks like all three answers are going to match. Oops. So that matches this matches this, and this matches it. Okay, let's do another one. So this is x to the power of 4 over 5. So that could be, if I made an index, this would be a 5, this would be a 4. All right. So this would be x to the power of 20, so that's not going to be it. This would be x to the power of 1 over 4 times, oops, because that's a 1 there. If you can't see it, I'll make it a little bit bigger, okay? It had the fourth root of x to the power of 1 raised to the power of 5. Well, this becomes this. And if I raise that to the power of 5, that would become x to the power of 5 over 4. We want 4 over 5, so that's not it. All right. Okay, and then how do we convert this guy? That's crazy. Let's take a look at this. So we got the fifth root of x to the power of what? 1 over 4. So if I wanted to convert this to a rational exponent, I'd put the fourth on top and put 5 on the bottom, which actually would become, let's see, 1/4 divided by 5 is the same as saying 1/4 times 1/5. So that would actually become 1 over 20. Holy cow. So what I want you to understand is this actually is the same as x to the power of 1 over 20. Now I'll prove it to you. Let's say x was 2. Okay, let's say x was 2. So I'm going to put, let's see here, alpha window, put a 6. All right, I'll put a 5 there, and I'll put a 2 here, and let's say it was what, to the power of what, 1/4? All right, there we go. So there's our decimal for that. So I just made x equal to 2. Let's put 2 to the power of 1 divided by 20 and see if it matches. It does. So what I'm saying is all I did here to prove my answer to you, for those of you who are watching, if I put an x there and I put an x there, I just plugged in a 2 and these are equivalent. So all I'm saying is these are definitely not the same. So I'm going to choose none of the above on this guy. None of them match. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So we have b squared, and I'm raising that to the power of 1 over 9. If I do a power to a power here, power to a power, that becomes b to the power of 2/9, b to the power of 2/9. Well, this one matches. That becomes b to the power of 2/9. So I'm definitely choosing that one. This one becomes b to the power of 9/2, so I'm not choosing that one. And this becomes b to the power of negative 2/9, and I'm not choosing that one. So this is the only one that matches. Okay. So basically on this challenge one, you're just trying to figure out the ones that match and the ones that don't match. All right, so d to the power of 1/8, I'll do the last one here. D to the power of 1/8 to the power of 5. We're doing power to a power. That becomes d to the power of 5/8. If I wanted to make that into a radical, it's very, very easy. Take the 8, put it right here, put the 5 right there. So I'm either matching it to this or I'm matching it to this. So here we go. This becomes d to the power of 5/8. So that matches. Whew. This becomes d to the power of 40. That totally doesn't match. What about this? What about this guy? If I have the 8th root of d to the power of 1 and I raise that to the power of 5, that's the same as saying d to the power of 1/8 times 5, and that becomes d to the power of 5/8. And that's what I wanted. So that matches. It looks like 2 out of the 3 match. So I will check A and C. So what do you guys have to do on these? You actually have to work them out to see if they work or if they don't work. And that's it. That's how you get hundreds. Just do the math and just keep going.